Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Doom Dominion. And today we have some exciting rumors and potential announcements for Doom the Dark Ages releasing for the Nintendo Switch 2. So, the Nintendo Switch 2 was finally revealed earlier this month in January, and Nintendo has a bit of this weird embargo where they don't want partners to present any of their titles yet. Anything that would especially only be coming to Switch 2, that seems to be the like that seems to be the big deal. Like if your game is coming only to Switch 2, you can't show it off yet. If it's coming to Switch, the original Switch and Switch 2, you can say, "Oh yeah, this my game for Switch 1 will also support Switch 2." It's already you have a game that's already been shown off. You're just saying it's going to support it. That is fine because it just seems that any game exclusive to the Switch 2 requires special permission from Nintendo before it can actually be announced. So they're just trying, this is typical Nintendo and most companies. Just right, they want to control how things are going to be announced, how things are going to get shown off, and much more. So these details come from a well-known industry insider, Extras One. You can find him on Twitter. I'm gonna put the tweet in the description. It has been translated, and that's where we're getting the information from. So, the full translation says, so for Doom the Dark Ages, the game which is in full development for the next generation machine is being deliberately withheld. Nintendo has not given the green light to all its partners to present their titles, especially those that would be exclusive to the Switch 2. So that is exactly what I was just saying, because we've heard this for a lot of games that are potentially coming to the Switch 2, that if it's only coming to the Switch 2, then you need to get special permission. There's no green light yet to do this, because once a platform is out, like the PS5, it's out right now. You don't need permission to reveal your game for the PS5. But given the Switch 2 is slowly still being revealed, Nintendo is still trying to get this kind of stuff under their control. And given all the leaks and stuff, it's I'm sure it's probably even worse. Nintendo is acting even more intense about this because of the entire Switch 2, the physical console was entirely leaked. So just more details from Extras One. Any game exclusive to the Switch 2 requires special permission. This would be a strategy to control the hype and prevent leaks until the company decides to reveal more official technical information about its new console. So again, this seems to be pretty much a lock. This person has a great track record, and given that Doom 2016 came to the Switch, Doom Eternal came to the Switch, and we're, just in the last couple weeks, Microsoft has gone extremely hard on saying, our games are going to go everywhere. It doesn't matter. There's no red lines anymore. And just yesterday, I think it was, Forza Horizon 5 was announced for the PS5. So I'm sure they want to have a great lineup for the Switch 2. And along with Doom the Dark Ages, the Flight Simulator. So Flight Simulator will also be ported to the Switch 2 along with Starfield. So Starfield's the Doom the Dark Ages and Flight Simulator are all going to be coming to Switch 2. And again, so these are just badly kept secrets. They know they exist. They can't be revealed yet. And that seems like a good lineup, right? When it comes to bringing games to the Switch and the type of demographic and the type of that's a nice variety of games. You have a mature title like hardcore with Doom: The Dark Ages. You have something in between with Starfield, and then you have something for all ages with Flight Simulator. And I think that's that would be a great lineup, from Microsoft, Bethesda, all its studios for the Switch 2. Anyways, going back to Doom the Dark Ages, the Switch 2 is going to have an NVIDIA chip. We know it's going to have support for ray tracing. We know it's going to support DLSS. We don't know what version. My guess is probably DLSS 3, maybe an older version of it. And yeah, and it's all there. That's, everyone is freaking out about Doom the Dark Ages requiring a video card that can have ray tracing capabilities. And in all honesty, it's just overdue. The current console generation is almost, yeah, we're 5 years in. We're in the fifth year now. Both those consoles support ray tracing. The Switch 2 now supports ray tracing. So if your PC can't support ray tracing, while Nintendo, which is going, like, they're using a very, it's not going to be top of the line, tech that's in there. It can support ray tracing in Doom the Dark Ages. I think that is an indication you need to upgrade your PC or get a Switch 2 or get a console, right? I think a Xbox Series S would be the cheapest way in to play Doom the Dark Ages. If you don't have, your PC doesn't support ray tracing, you have a very old card, that means your card is going on its 8th year. So again, I'm not sure how long you want your video card to last, but going on 8 years and your video card still lasts. It can't play Doom the Dark Ages if you have a non-ray tracing card, but it can still play other games. So just because you can't play one game doesn't mean it's obsolete. But unfortunately, I'm sure you're going to see more and more of this. And if anything, it's overdue. We've had a very long cross-generation period with the PS5 and Xbox Series consoles where like games were coming to the Xbox One, the PS4 so much, and that is what is holding things back. And it's, finally those consoles are finally being left behind again on year 5 of the console generation, and we can finally move forward, make ray tracing standard. Everyone's like, ray tracing, get rid of it. Understand that for almost every game, when you create the lighting, your ray trace, your rasterized lighting, even in the editor, it's usually done via ray tracing. Like Source 2, the Source 2 engine, it's all done. So like when you play the game, it's all baked lighting, but all that lighting has been baked with ray tracing. It looks that good because of ray tracing. In the case of Source 2, like in Half-Life Alyx or Counter-Strike 2, it's all static lighting. The lighting doesn't move. But it's not the sun, in the map, in that lighting, that how it's changing, that's affecting the entire area. So in the Doom the Dark Ages, right, it is all real time. Moving ahead in this type of ray tracing, the lighting is real time. It's all happening in game, and that's just the direction we're going. Optimization needs to be good. It is no excuse for not good optimization. But when you have a game that does a great job and looks great, does a great job with the ray tracing, and id Software is working hard to do a lot more than just, the lighting and things like that ray tracing brings, the improvements it brings, but also for materials. So really creating the world in a much more organic way by having materials be, to the very per pixel definition of what you're firing upon, because that's what they were talking about too, was the ray tracing. And that's not just for like impacts, but also for sound effects. Like it'll impact a lot of things. Ray tracing for sound, like ray trace sound is a thing, and it's not used enough. And that's kind of the thing. It's these ray trace technologies are not used enough, and not used in the industry for them to mature, to become, much more integrated into gameplay, and to be much better optimized and more. And, Indiana Jones is using not the exact same version of id Tech, but very close to it. I don't know, going, after after Doom the Dark Ages comes out and we can compare both of them, it will be interesting to see if, I'm going to say the ray tracing in Indiana Jones is much more intense, and it will probably be, because it does full path tracing too, and we haven't heard if Doom the Dark Ages is going to do full path tracing, which was just an option for Indiana Jones. You didn't have to use it. You could just use the basic ray tracing, which doesn't have the whole suite. But anyways, it's super, super flexible. So even if you have, one of the oldest ray tracing supported cards, you should be okay. But anyways, getting back on track, Doom the Dark Ages is coming to the Nintendo Switch 2. I'll probably pick it up because I'm going to get a Switch 2 at launch, and I'll definitely love to have Doom the Dark Ages as a port and a game to have for my new console. All right, so as more details comes up for this version of Doom the Dark Ages, I will update. And with the Nintendo Direct coming up in a couple months, I'm sure that's when we'll see Doom the Dark Ages finally revealed for the Switch 2. All right, so don't forget to like, subscribe, comment here on the Doom Dominion, and we'll see you next time. Peace and love, and I'm out.